Coffee cake really brings me back to my childhood. I grew up in a tiny little town in France where my parents had a pastry shop, and of course every morning they were baking those great coffee cakes, and all that cinnamon and a nut flavor and the sugars caramelizing. We usually, myself and my brother, we used to wake up with those flavors in the house, and I want to show you how to make some great coffee cake. So over here I have a little bit of lukewarm water, and I will dissolve the yeast first. So I drop the yeast in there, and I'm adding a little bit of sugar. Here we go. I just very gently will stir that in, mix it together, and really let it sit until the whole mixture actually foams up. It's about 10 to 12 minutes. And then I know my yeast is really alive. That means the coffee cake is going to turn out great. So here, obviously, you can see it's really foamy, really nice. The yeast is ready. So let me process with another little mixture here. That's another element. I have a little bit of sour cream here. I'm adding some vanilla extract. So that's just a little more flavor into it. And of course, some milk. So I'm pouring in the milk over. Here we go. I'm just gonna stir that up, mix it nicely until it's smooth. And then after that, I will take one egg, just put the egg in there, break it up, mix it. All right, so once I'm at that stage, it's very simple, very easy so far. And I just take that and transfer it over my yeast. Here we go. Once I'm on that stage, let me move over and start with the dough. So I'm using a chopping blade to make the dough, and we'll add the flour into the working bowl. There we go. After that, I have the remaining sugar right over here. I will add into it. Tiny little pinch of salt. Here we go. And the butter. And the butter is very important that actually the butter is chilled, not soft. The butter has to be chilled so that I'm able to mix really the butter and the flour before the whole mixture actually comes together. So I'm covering up and gonna mix it up until everything is nicely and mixed in and no more lump into the flour. So a couple of on and offs. It's very fast, very quick. And it's very important that actually the butter is mixed into the flour. I think we are right there. And then before actually pouring the yeast in, just want to show you that I have no more lumps. Everything is nice and smooth. Now I'm pouring in my yeast mixture. So I will stir it up. And as the machine is running, I'm pouring in the yeast mixture. Here we go. And now everything is coming to a boil. So 40 seconds are gone now. I'm stopped the machine and I will take the dough out. And the reason why I was keeping on kneading the dough another 40 seconds is just to bring more elasticity into the dough, which is another little secret of the coffee cake. So let me take out the dough. Okay, here we go. And once the dough is outside, I'm just gonna shape it a little bit. And then now putting the dough into a Ziploc bag which has been lightly floured. I put it in there, flatten it out a little bit, and push out basically all the air and close it off and let it rise. And I have one which is already ready. Here, let me bring it over and you see how delicate it is. And here you can tell how much the dough has proven here. So I will take them out. There we go. And transfer over my cutting board here. All right, so now once we are right here, I will roll out the dough exactly the shape to include some of those great ingredients that I have in front of me, some nuts, some figs, some brown sugar, and of course some cinnamon. So let me roll it out. So very simple. You definitely don't want to overwork the dough, just by pushing nice and gently over it. And then once in a while you lift it up and you just flour the bottom with the underneath, and let's roll it out. Here we go. And it's really very, very simple, and that's about the size of your dough that you want to bring it to. Here we go. Perfect. So a perfect, nice rectangle. So once we have that, let me brush the dough with some butter. So that butter definitely will add more flavor to these coffee cakes. Okay, so a pretty nice and generous layer of butter. Here we go. Great. And of course, I want to put some butter also into my mold where I will be proofing and baking the coffee cake. I want to make sure nothing sticks, and little extra butter never hurt the coffee cake, I must say that. So once we are here, let me now chop the ingredients which I have over here, which are actually kind of a filling of the coffee cake. So let me put it right over here. I have some pecans, I have some dates, I have some brown sugar, and I'm using the same cup. Here we go. I'm adding the knife into it, and let's add those pecans and the dates. There we go. And the brown sugar smells really good. Brown sugar, and of course, here goes a childhood memory, a cinnamon. All right, we have that, and I'm just going to chop that up for about 45 seconds. All right, I think it's ready. So we're going to take that out, and just going to bring it over the dough and really, well, sprinkle it really nicely, just like that. Just an even coat over the dough. All right, so the coffee cake is really taking some shape here. Once I'm on stage, I'm just going to roll it over. So very gently, I lift up the edges here, fold it over. Here we go. And for the ones who never made any coffee cake, obviously you can see how easy everything is, in particular by using a Cuisinart food processor to making the dough and making the mix of the fruit. It's basically effortless. So now I'm going to bring that here in the middle, and let's divide that into 12 equal portions. So cutting it down in the middle, and then give them 3 slices here. We do the same thing on that side, and then one more time in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's arrange those into my mold. So let's put one right here, and over there, and over here. And that smells really good, just to be above that baking pan. All right. And we put them, and of course, I will leave a tiny little space between them because they will rise and they need a little space to actually expand. That's why I leave that opening. All right. Here we go. So now, at that stage, I will let them rise for about an hour until they're really proofing really nicely. And I have some over here that have risen. So now you can see how they have risen, and they really stick together nicely. They're covering up the whole baking pan. Now I will put them in the oven at 375 degrees for about 20-25 minutes. And let me check the oven. I think I have one tray ready in there. Now here we go. And they are beautiful and nice and shiny, and you can smell the cinnamon here. So that definitely reminds me of my childhood, and you really could see how easy it was to make. And again, another recipe almost for beginners, I would say, and with a great result.